Hey guys! Alright, I'm back. This is my daughter. Say hi. Hi. Anyways, in this video, I'm gonna do this look. I'm gonna put a picture up now. And it's just something that's been inspired by, I'm not the first artist to do this look, obviously, but basically any scary movie I've ever seen that has like the scariest of scary bad guys in them, in my mind, this is what they look like. And then obviously I've been inspired by the Rake from Creepypasta too. That's like my main inspiration for this look. And then like every other scary thing I've seen that has had a mouth like that. So I just really wanted to do it for my first like liquid latex look. Anyways, if you want to find out how to do that, then just stay tuned and watch this video. Please share, like, subscribe, comment, any support I appreciate greatly. Alright, so here it is. Okay, so I'm going to start by using that Anastasia concealer that I always use for everything, and I'm going to block out my lips with it, because you want like a super even flat surface to start on. And now I'm just taking cotton balls, because they're like one of the two main ingredients, and those are sponges. And then I'm just going to unroll the cotton ball and take the second main ingredient, which is the Ben Nye liquid latex, pour it on a paper plate, and then just start applying. Put the liquid latex down first, and make sure all your hair is pulled back. You don't want to get any of this in your hair. It will pull your hair out. Then just once every you're putting the liquid latex on the cotton, just keep pulling at it to make it super piecey and gross looking like that. You basically just want like a really gross mustache type of look. As you can see, I look like Father Time already. Super cute. But that's what you need. You need those stringy pieces to hang down because you'll use them later on. And now I'm going to go in and paint, mixing red and dark brown from the Mehron Paradise palette. And I just wanted to paint all the parts of my mouth that we're going to be showing through the thing once we have it on. And so you just keep going, you just keep layering it on and piecing it out. And I wanted to make it kind of go like span the whole width of my face basically. Well, maybe not the whole width, but most of it. So I just kept going and kept going and kept going. Now I'm moving on to the bottom, so I'm making a beard. And then this one you piece and pull it like upwards because you're gonna have them, you know, come up and down and across and meet. So just keep saturating it with latex. So you just gotta keep going and keep layering it up. And now I'm getting to that edge where I'm about to finish it, kind of close it off. Just saturate it with all the latex. And now I'm kind of joining the little stringy things together, kind of making them going from top to bottom, you know. And then I'm going to add a few more because there's not as many piecey things hanging down as I would want. So I'm just tearing off little strips and kind of like rolling them up. And then just sticking them on there with some additional liquid latex. And that process sort of goes on for a little while. Just stuff like this is just time consuming. It's not really, I think a lot of people think it's like too hard. It's just really time consuming is the only thing. And now I'm just taking some like really sharp tweezers and I'm going in and I'm like opening up holes and making little tears and stuff to make it look super gross. I'm adding some more lines, just making it. The key with anything like, any type of like special effects type of makeup like this is just like the variance in the detail and everything that you do. You have to make everything super random, so you don't want anything to be like really uniform looking, because that's not, I mean, if somebody's face were to be torn open in real life, it wouldn't be uniform. It would be, you know what I mean, when things tear, it's like really random and gross and just looks disheveled and chaotic. So that's the type of look you're trying to create, which that's the hard part when you're doing anything like that, because obviously our minds don't really work in ways that when we're creating things, we're trying to create chaos. Usually you're trying to create order. So anyways, there I just colored in all the insides of the little holes that you could see with the red and brown mixture again of the Mehron paints. And I'm adding on to the edges to make them more flat and blendable later on. You just add liquid latex and like kind of spread it out. with a sponge, or you can use like a palette knife or anything like that. I didn't use one, and I kind of regretted it later on. I should have used a palette knife. It would have made it a lot easier, I think. And now I'm going and making the lines a little bit longer, which is really gonna just tie the look together later on, making them, you know, making it look like it was like torn open somehow, whether it be mechanically or whatever. But actually, I wouldn't suggest doing that until you do this step, which is where I'm gonna take over the whole appliance and paint it with like that brown and that Mehron Paradise palette. And you want to do that because you just made an appliance out of cotton and latex, so it's going to be super, super light. So whenever you try to go over with your foundation later, it would pick up multi-tonal, obviously. It's not going to pick up like the same color as your skin because it's lighter. So you want to paint it with like a darker brown and then go over it with your foundation, because then it will look more like the color of your skin and it'll blend a little bit more naturally. But whenever I did that and I painted over it with the brown, I kind of ruined all the lines that I just did, and you're going to see that I'm going to have to do them later again. And now I'm taking the Ben Nye bruise wheel, and I'm just going to use the darkest red, the lightest purple, and the lighter red, and I'm just going to create bruising around the outside of the mouth because I just think it looks better, personally. I think it ties the whole thing together. And that's not something you have to do, that's just really personal preference. And then I went back and added blue to make the bruising, I guess, more realistic. I don't know, but I wish I didn't, because then it made it too dark, and then I ended up having to go back over it with some more foundation. So if you would have just left it with those first colors that I used, I think it would have been perfect. See, now I'm going back in with some more foundation to make it a little bit lighter. And now it's like I told you, where I have to go back over and redo the lines again, because whenever I did all the bruising and the painting it brown, it kind of ruined the lines that I already drew. And now I'm going to go in with that Ben Nye Fresh Scab, which is like some of my favorite stuff. And I just take it on the end of like a disposable, I think that's like a lip liner brush or something. But I just didn't want to touch it with my fingers. So I just take it on the end of like a disposable applicator of some sort. And I just really dig in there, and it's super thick, so you have to use something like that. And I just put it in all the holes, just to make it look a little bit more realistic, make everything pop, make it shiny, make it look fresh and disgusting, you know. And now it is pretty much finished. And I'm going to sing to you, of course, dance. And my daughter wanted to come over and be in the video. She always likes to be part of my looks, so there she is. I think she was a little bit freaked out at first, which is funny because she's seen me in way scarier makeup than this. But that's it. I hope you guys like it. We'll see you next time.